I don't know about you, but if I have to sit through A Christmas Story one more time, knowing exactly when that kid's gonna lick the frozen pole or hear the same 3 jokes in Elf that I've heard every December since 2003, I might actually lose my mind.
You suck, you jackass.
Howdy, and thanks for clicking on this video to see what this jackass has to say. I appreciate you. You know, we do this to ourselves every year. We put on the same 5 movies, recycle the same nostalgia, and by the time December 25th actually rolls around, we're just numb to it. We're bored. Now, don't get me wrong, I love these movies, and I'm guilty of doing the same thing, but in this video, I wanted to shift my focus to television. I know there's a bunch of heavy hitters. I know millions of you act like it isn't Christmas until Michael Scott buys that iPod in the office, or until Frank Costanza screams about Festivus on Seinfeld. Of course, there's Ross being the holiday armadillo, and Homer Simpson going to work as a mall Santa. I get it. These are classics, and they're very comfortable. But if you're actually looking for something to watch that makes you feel something without feeling like you're stuck in a time loop, well, look no further than this video. So what I've done is I've put together a list of my personal favorite TV episodes that I watch every single year. And yeah, some of these picks are a little weird. Some of them are from shows you probably forgot existed or wouldn't touch with a 10-foot pole during the holidays. And most of these episodes actually come from an era of TV when shows actually had time to breathe. I mean, these are the days where you had 22 or 24 episode seasons, not this 8-episode streaming bullshit we get today where everything feels rushed. Back then, writers had the space to make a Christmas episode that was actually heartfelt, funny, and felt earned. So I want to show you why these specific episodes are worth your time, even the unconventional ones. So put down the remote, stop doom scrolling past Home Alone for the 50th time, and let's get into the 10 best slightly messed up, totally worth it TV episodes to watch this Christmas. Coming in at number 10, we have Bob's Burgers, specifically season 4, episode 8, Christmas in the Car. Now this list is mostly about shows you wouldn't expect to deliver a holiday punch, but I felt like Bob's Burgers is the exception. They're the kings of Thanksgiving and Christmas specials, and most fans are gonna scream at me that the 2-part The Bleakening is the best one, and look, I get it, it's fantastic, but Christmas in the Car is the one I actually come back to every single year. I think the premise is so damn funny because it's so stressful. They're driving out to get a last-minute treat on Christmas Eve, and they end up getting stalked by a candy cane truck driver. The villain here is hilarious. It's like the movie Duel, but stupid. It captures that specific holiday anxiety of everything going wrong while you're trapped in a small space with your family perfectly. Linda has some great lines.
Dad,
What?
where do babies come from?
You all come from my vagina. I knew it. You owe me $10, Tina.
And that perfectly sums up the chaos and absurdity of the whole thing. But here's what I think makes it special. Underneath all that insanity, it's actually about family. It's about being trapped in a car, everything falling apart, and still trying to make Christmas happen together. And if you ask me, that's the real Christmas spirit right there. Not the Norman Rockwell stuff, the messy, chaotic, we're all losing our minds, but we're doing it together kind of spirit. It's easily one of the most creative, high energy 22 minutes of the show's entire run, and for me, it never gets old. Coming in at number 9 is Abed's Uncontrolled Christmas from Community Season 2, Episode 11. I honestly think this show is criminally underrated to begin with, but this episode in particular is just fantastic. If you haven't seen it, the entire episode is done in stop motion animation, but in this particular episode, it's not just a gimmick. The reason the world looks like clay is because Abed is having a mental breakdown. His mom, who visits him every year to watch Rudolph on December 9th, sends him a card saying she has a new family and won't be coming. So Abed literally retreats into a fantasy world to protect himself from the pain. The group collectively decides to play along with his delusion to help him find the true meaning of Christmas. They all turn into toys. Troy is a toy soldier, Pierce is a teddy bear, and Jeff is a jack-in-the-box who eventually gets eaten by humbugs because he's way too sarcastic. And what I think makes this episode so watchable is that it balances being genuinely funny with being incredibly sad. It deconstructs the idea of the Christmas special while simultaneously becoming one of the best Christmas specials ever made. When they finally find the meaning of Christmas in a box at the North Pole, it's a DVD of the first season of Lost. Abed says it represents lack of payoff, which is hilarious, but then he realizes the actual meaning. Christmas has meaning because we give it meaning. It's creative, it's heartbreaking, it's hilarious, and it has a Christmas pterodactyl. Honestly, what more could you possibly want? At number 8, we're going with Veronica Mars, Season 1, Episode 10, An Eccles Family Christmas. And for those of you who missed the boat, Veronica Mars was one of those shows I absolutely loved the hell out of when it came out. It turned Kristen Bell into a huge star, but it never quite caught on with the masses, and it feels like it's all but been forgotten since. I wasn't a fan of the movie or the reboot, but the first 3 seasons, perfection. This particular episode is peak Veronica Mars. It balances 2 classic mystery plots, a stolen poker pot and a celebrity stalker, all set against the backdrop of a fancy rich kid Christmas party. It's got everything that made the show great: snappy dialogue, class warfare, and Veronica outsmarting everyone in the room. But what makes it so great for the holidays is how it skewers the fake, shiny veneer of a perfect Christmas. You've got carolers singing in fake snow while a celebrity gets stabbed by a stalker just a few feet away. It's dark, it's cynical, and it ends with this perfect noir narration.
No, Veronica, there is no Santa Claus.
So if you like your Christmas with a side of mystery and teenage angst that actually feels smart, this here's the one. Also, give the first 3 seasons a watch if you've never seen it. I don't think you'll be disappointed. Coming in at number 7, we've got The X-Files, Season 6, Episode 6, How the Ghosts Stole Christmas. Now, I personally think this episode is just brilliant. It manages to keep that spooky, eerie X-Files atmosphere intact while doing something totally different. The plot's simple. Mulder drags Scully out on Christmas Eve to investigate a haunted house in Maryland where a couple supposedly committed a lover's suicide pact back in 1917. But what makes this episode so good isn't just the ghosts, played by legends Ed Asner and Lily Tomlin, by the way. It's the psychological game they play. Instead of just jumping out and shouting boo, these ghosts try to turn Mulder and Scully against each other. They psychoanalyze them, poke at their insecurities, and try to convince them that their partnership is just a lonely, codependent mess. It's kind of a bottled episode that feels like a twisted stage play. It's funny, it's creepy, and has some of the best Mulder and Scully banter of the entire series. I think it solidified the X-Files as one of the all-time greats because it shows the show didn't always need aliens or government conspiracies to be compelling. Sometimes it just needed 2 great actors in a room unpacking their baggage while trying not to get murdered by ghosts. At number 6, we have The In-Betweeners, Season 1, Episode 6, Xmas Party. Now, a lot of us here in the States might not be familiar with this show, but here's the gist. It's about 4 painfully awkward British teenagers desperately trying to be cool, get girls, and survive high school without totally humiliating themselves, and failing miserably every single time. I kind of compare it to like It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia in high school in Britain. It's hands down one of the funniest shows of the 21st century, and if you haven't seen it, you're genuinely missing out on some of the best cringe comedy ever written. So this episode is the perfect Christmas watch because it captures that specific high school holiday vibe. The desperation of the end-of-term school dance. Will gets elected chairman of the Christmas prom mostly because no one else wanted the job, and tries to organize a classy event while the other guys just want to get drunk and hook up. For me, it's got a little bit of everything. Terrible party planning, awkward slow dances, and Simon painting his love for a girl on her driveway in a way that goes horribly, hilariously wrong. It's chaotic, it's rude, and it's hysterical. If your memories of Christmas are less about warmth and more about awkward social interactions and bad decisions, I think this episode is a perfect watch for you. Coming in at number 5, we've got Supernatural, Season 3, Episode 8, A Very Supernatural Christmas. I personally think Supernatural is one of the best shows of all time. For about 8 seasons, some might argue 5. And this episode is a part of why that run feels so special. The premise is fun and messed up at the same time. People are getting yanked up chimneys and torn apart. And Sam and Dean slowly figure out that the evil Santa might actually be something much older and way darker hiding in this very normal looking suburb. You've got these cheerful decorations, carols, and then boom, twisted pagan gods disguised as the sweetest, most average couple on the block doing absolutely brutal stuff in their basement. It's Christmas, but through the very specific supernatural lens. Cozy on the outside, nightmare on the inside. And what really makes it hit though is the emotional stuff. The flashbacks to young Sam and Dean show how screwed up their childhood Christmases were. John gone, no money, hunting instead of holidays, and how Dean still tries to give Sam a normal version of Christmas anyway. You see where their whole dynamic comes from. Sam wanting something like a regular life, Dean trying to make the best of the messed up hand they've been dealt. Then in the present, when they finally decide to celebrate together, it's rough and low budget, but it's also really sweet. It feels like two brothers saying, this might be our last one, so screw it, we're doing Christmas. And on top of that, it still has that sharp, sarcastic humor the show's known for. The awkward Santa, the sketchy trailer, Dean being way too into the idea of Christmas porn, all that. So you get gnarly horror, real heart, and some great laughs in under an hour. It's dark, it's warm, it's mean, it's kind, and it somehow nails all of that without feeling like a tone disaster. To me, that's why this one stands out and why it proves Supernatural wasn't just a fun genre show, it could deliver a damn near perfect Christmas episode too. Coming in at number 4 is Psych. Season 2, episode 10. Gus's dad may have killed an old guy. For me, Psych is one of those comfort food shows. It's funny, quirky, cheesy in the best way, and just kind of perfect to throw on when you want to feel good without thinking too hard. This show actually has a few Christmas outings plus the holiday movie, but for me, the one that stands above all the rest is this one. So if you've never seen it, Psych is basically about a guy who's insanely observant and pretends to be a psychic detective, and his best friend who's constantly stressed out by his nonsense. That right there's the whole magic. Dumb genius plus anxious straight man. And this episode takes that dynamic and drops it right into a full-on family Christmas. Gus drags Sean to his parents' house for the holidays, and within like 5 minutes, an elderly neighbor shows up possibly dead, and Gus's dad is the main suspect. So now Sean's trying to solve a case, clear Gus's dad, and survive the most intense family Christmas at the same time. And what I think makes this episode so great is how hard it leans into the Christmas vibe without losing what Psych is all about. You've got decorations, the big family dinner, the awkward small talk, the parental disappointment, all of it. But you also get classic Psych stuff, Sean riffing fake visions, using Christmas props, Gus slowly losing his mind, and his parents being absolutely done with the both of them. I think it's one of the funniest episodes in the entire series, but it still has that warm, yeah, my family's insane, but I love them feeling underneath all the jokes. Honestly, it's the perfect Christmas episode because it feels real in a stupid way. The holidays are never as calm and magical as movies pretend. They're messy, tense, and full of old grudges that bubble up back over ham. And this episode really leans into that, wraps it in a murder mystery, and lets two goofballs try to hold it all together. That mix of heart, silliness, and mystery is exactly why Psych has the cult following it does, and why this episode 100% deserves to be on this list. At number 3, I put Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Season 3, Episode 10, Amends. It's the last season with Angel as a recurring character, and the whole episode is pretty much a gut punch focused on his torment. It was written by Joss Whedon himself, and it's dripping with that quick-witted, soul-crushing dialogue the show was so famous for. And really, this episode is dark as hell. Angel's being haunted by the ghosts of his past victims, most notably Jenny Calendar, all orchestrated by a purely evil entity called the First Evil. It's trying to psychologically break him and manipulate him into killing Buffy. Instead, Angel decides the only way to protect her and atone for his sins is to wait for the sun to rise on Christmas morning and let it burn him to dust. And what keeps me tuning into this episode every year is the final scene. Buffy finds Angel on a hill waiting for death, and she refuses to let him go. She tells him he has to fight, that he can make amends by living. And just as the sun's about to rise and the situation feels completely hopeless, it starts to snow in Sunnydale, California, you know, where it never snows. Really, it's this beautiful, impossible Christmas miracle. It feels like a perfect, almost poetic send-off for Angel before he leaves for his own show, giving him and Buffy one last moment of impossible grace. This episode isn't about presents or parties. It's about redemption, forgiveness, and finding hope when there is absolutely none left. For me, it's a must-watch. Coming in at number 2 is Roswell, Season 2, Episode 10, A Roswell Christmas Carol. So some of you might remember the show, some of you probably just remember the WB promo voice, but this episode right here might be the single best embodiment of a Christmas episode I've ever seen. It originally aired over 25 years ago, and Roswell's one of those shows that really stuck the emotional landing, even if the ratings didn't back it up. Hell, I mean, mean, this show was hokey. Some of the acting was a little sus. It got canceled before it got the proper ending it deserved, but the core of the show was always the characters and the emotion, and this episode is that turned all the way up. The story starts when Max sees a man get hit by a car in front of his daughter and doesn't save him. That's already pretty heavy because this is Max, I heal people with glowing alien hands, Evans. After that, he starts being followed around by the guy's ghost, and it plays like this alien-infused take on A Christmas Carol. The ghost is basically Max's guilt made real, constantly asking, why didn't you save me? So you got this kid with godlike power wrestling with the most human question ever. When do you step in, and what do you owe other people? Instead of just doing a cheesy Christmas miracle, the episode makes him earn it emotionally. Meanwhile, you get peak Roswell side plots that somehow all feed into the Christmas theme. There's pre-diva Katherine Heigl as Isabel, and she's in full Christmas Nazi mode, obsessively trying to control every detail of the town's decorations and parties. In this episode, she's this hilarious mix of terrifying and relatable because we all know someone who treats holiday planning like a military operation. You've got family tension, awkward religion talk, people trying to do the right thing but also low-key losing their minds because it's December and everyone's stressed out. It's Christmas chaos but grounded in these characters you actually care about. And then towards the end of the episode, you get the children's hospital sequence, which is where this episode just destroys you in the best way. Max decides that if he couldn't save that one man, he's going to use his powers to heal as many sick kids as he can for Christmas. It's risky, it's reckless. Everyone around him is freaking out because he's basically lighting up like a damn Christmas star in a public place, but emotionally, it's perfect. You watch him walk through this ward quietly giving these kids their lives back, and it is insanely powerful. It hits family, health, faith, sacrifice, all at once without feeling fake. What I think makes A Roswell Christmas Carol so special is that it takes the ghost of guilt at Christmas, the idea of miracles, the pressure to be a good person during the holidays, and makes it completely its own. It's not just about aliens or teen drama, it's about what you do with the power you have and how you live with the stuff you didn't do. It celebrates family, it wrestles with religion without mocking it, it leans into the true meaning of Christmas without turning it into a Hallmark card. It's messy, it's emotional, weird, and somehow still incredibly cozy. That's why I don't think this one is just good. This is the kind of episode you watch once and it just lives in your brain every December after that. And at number 1, we've got It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, Season 6, Episode 13, A Very Sunny Christmas. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you this is objectively the best Christmas special ever made in the history of television, but it is, without a doubt, my personal favorite. If you love Sunny, this episode is basically the holy grail. It takes every single toxic, hilarious, depraved thing about the gang and wraps it up in tinsel. The plot is split into 2 perfectly chaotic storylines. First, you got Dennis and Dee trying to execute a Christmas Carol-style revenge plot on Frank because he buys himself the gifts they always wanted as kids just to torture them. Watching Danny DeVito gleefully rub their faces in their own childhood trauma is peak Frank Reynolds. Then you have Mac and Charlie trying to redeem Mac's past theft of a toy, which leads to the horrifying realization that Charlie's mom was definitely a Christmas hooker. Watching Charlie slowly put together why Santa visited his house so many times on Christmas morning is just comedy gold, until he snaps and bites a mall Santa in a fit of rage. What this episode does is it nails the Christmas setting while doing what Sunny does best. Everyone comes up with a plan and everyone fails spectacularly. You get this hilariously graphic claymation sequence where Frank literally murders the gang. Frank gets sewn naked into a couch to eavesdrop, and the whole thing ends with them throwing rocks at trains. It's disgusting, it's violent, it's hysterical, and weirdly, in its own twisted way, it's about family. It's one of the best episodes the show has ever done, and it's the only Christmas special I make sure to watch every single year, and I have so for years. So there you have it, 10 episodes of television that prove you don't need to watch the same 3 movies until your eyes bleed to get into the Christmas spirit. Whether you want ghosts, aliens, puppets, or just Danny DeVito naked in a couch, there's a lot on this list that will actually make you feel something this holiday season. If not, it's a little bit different. So if you dug this list, or if I missed your favorite weird Christmas episode, let me know in the comments. And if you don't mind, please hit that like button. It helps the channel more than you know. And go ahead and subscribe so you don't miss whatever chaotic nonsense I decide to talk about next. I'm out of here. Merry Christmas, you filthy animals. I'm off to throw rocks at trains. As always, the opinions in this video are mine and mine alone, but what do I know? I'm but a mere jackass. I'll try to do better next time. Feliz Navidad, amigos.
Merry Christmas! Dinner was full!
Don't know shit. I'm just a jackass of all trades. Don't know shit. But I'll keep on talking, acting like I'm